I don't want to say that I like seeing this happen, but I will say this is the good stuff right here. Tweet out by Janet Trotman, frustration at the Red Wings practice this morning. Ben Chiarot and Lucas Raymond got into it and had to be broken up. And attached is a video, again, from earlier this morning, 9:38 a.m. in Vancouver time, so about noon-ish, in Detroit, Michigan. And it's a video clip where you can see the Red Wings getting into a bit of a scuffle. And look, it's Lucas Raymond, it's Ben Chiarot, they're going after each other, arms are wailing, guys are coming in trying to break them up. You can see Raymond afterwards, like, he doesn't have his helmet on, he's angry. Ben Chiarot's there too. Raymond is ultimately being pulled away there by, I think that's Mo. And he skates away, he's angry about it, he's yapping, man. He's yapping. They give him back his equipment, and they eventually get settled away and pulled off. There then seems to be a resumption of whatever drill it is that is going on here. By the way, big shout out over to, I didn't see, Angie, who just subscribed whilst I was recording this video. But the Wings, man, all the losing, it's getting to them. And I'm not going to go out there and say that, you know, this kind of thing is necessarily a bad thing. You can't go out there and expect guys who are pro athletes and who are competitive human beings to keep their lids on for a full 82-game season, especially during a stint like this, where the team is losing, a lot of people are playing poorly, yada yada yada. There are going to be some tensions. And so, seeing something like this, it's not really all too surprising. We see this once in a while in the NHL, where a team literally goes out there and starts fighting amongst themselves in practice. Following up with it is another article or a video or whatever. Here's what Ryan went out there and asked, what happened that sparked this confrontation? Gianna says, I couldn't get to my phone fast enough. This is where I started recording. It was during a drill. The two of them were down by the net and stayed tied up while the play went elsewhere, and then it turned to this. So it seems like they were kind of involved in a little bit of a net front battle, and it just kind of boiled over into what we had seen in this video here. So ultimately, you know, this is what losing to the Sabres does to you, I guess. 7-3, whatever it was, like, when the team is frustrated, the team is pissed off with each other, with themselves, you'll get tensions boiling, and this is what happens. Now, I wanted to go out there and read some of the Reddit comments on the Our Red Wings sub in regards to this altercation, because obviously, you know, it's not like the biggest deal in the world, but it still is something worth noting when two players on your team that had played pretty well at certain parts throughout this year are going at it in practice. First comment goes out there and says, Raymond is the only one I've seen consistent anger or intensity from in any of these losing games. I feel like he's consistently thrown the best body checks all season, which is nonsense. And you know what? I'm not going to go out there and disagree. Lucas Raymond was always seen as that guy with a very strong work ethic and presence on the ice, whether that be with his penalty killing ability or his offensive ability, or I guess you could even say body checking ability. Now, sure, you could say he may not have been like the most overall utilized player this year, but still, Lucas Raymond has always had that profile, and he's still really young, so heading into the next few years of his career, I think there's definitely more potential to unlock with his game. But realistically, Raymond being one of the only guys to have consistent anger from any of these guys throughout the games that they've lost, hey, that's not really surprising. So, Cop Stop Being Me, by the way, great username, has a pretty good point here. If there's anyone on this team that has looked like they want to win, it's Lucas. I've seen him since he was young in Sweden. He is truly what we call a vinnerskall, a winnerhead. I'm glad he's doing this. I'd be pissed off too if I was Raymond. Like, FFS, play as if your life was on the line. That's what it's all about. Let's hope he keeps using that winner skull of his to get us into the wild card at least. And, you know, we'll see if that's possible. I mean, 7 losses in a row. definitely doesn't help, but at the same time, having leaders on your team like Lucas Raymond, potentially like Dylan Larkin when he comes back, which, I mean, look, I think we're all praying for it to happen sooner rather than later. There's another comment that says, oh, he should get the C on his jersey while Larkin is out. Yeah, no, let's not do that. I love Raymond, but let's start with an A before we throw the C on there. Another reply says, I'm prepared for the most boring non-answer when they get asked about this, but I'm glad the team's showing some fire. If only they did this when they played other teams. Yeah, you know, that's a fair point as well. There seems to have been a little bit of a lack of passion throughout the lineup the past few games here in Detroit. Who knew that losing your captain would spark into this? Another thread said, the Blues had a fight breakout in practice in 2019 when they were well out of the playoffs, and it completely fired them up and turned their season around, and they ended up winning the Stanley Cup. You heard it here first, boys. Book the parade. JK, but I honestly kind of like seeing this. At least we know they care enough to get pissed off. They'll be fine. And yeah, that definitely was a thing. It was a really big deal, actually, in 2018-19, because the Blues at one point in that season were, I think, last in the league, and then in some sort of a miracle pull, they ended up getting Jordan Binnington from the AHL just to come in, fill in some spots, and he was really good, and he helped them win games, and they ended up making the playoffs, and Binnington was good enough to help them win the gosh darn Stanley Cup as a rookie, and a lot of people were like, hey, that fight that they had in the season earlier on, that kind of sparked it. It was one of the catalysts for the St. Louis Blues to go out there and start consistently winning games. Now, you could debate as to whether or not the Red Wings are in a position to do that. I mean, they're still within the wild card, somewhat, but they have lost a lot in a row, and maybe one fight may not be enough to fully put them back into the playoff race and potentially win the cup. They're going to need to get Larkin back, man. But this was a thing. At the end of the day, it showed off that these players cared and they wanted to be put in a better position, and that's exactly what we've seen out of the Red Wings in this same video. These guys want to win. So when it comes to Lucas Raymond, man, good on him for standing up for himself. 100% agree with you. 19 Detroit says at least they're showing some emotion after a dismal stretch of games. In fact, I'm happy to see this. I bet we come out strong next game. Another reply asks, oh, was it Binnington that caused the fight in St. Louis? It was Sanford and Bortuzzo. And then there's another reply that goes out there and says, hey, I'm not surprised. Raymond has been the only one who seems to care. Hopefully he said something to the effect of, gonna let in 4 again in the first to Chiarot. Okay, no, that would have been nasty, man. That would have been too much. No way, Jose. I mean, if he did say that, that would have been funny. Take this anger and start winning again, Ali Mo goes out there and says. Good. They should be pissed off. I think everyone missed that Rasmussen shove and smile. That's a pretty good indicator this isn't that serious. So there was maybe a little bit of contention here as to whether or not this was really that big of a deal, really all too serious of an altercation between Raymond and Chiarot, but at the end of the day, you know, it happened. We still have ourselves some good, let's say, drama to pay attention to with this Wings team, and I mean, look, there is a little bit of smiling going on here. The guys are getting a little bit amused by what's going on, so maybe it was serious, maybe it wasn't. I hope Ray was telling Chiarot to play as hard as he practices. Chiarot took Ray out of the lineup last spring. Yeah, that's what it seems to me as well. Chiarot was smiling when Raymond was still heated after they got pulled apart. Benny probably too big of a check or something, and Lucas wasn't having it. Raymond took a big step this year in attempting to lead on the ice, and I could definitely see him trying this in practice, like, come on guys, do something. Normally this would be a red flag to me, but with the uninspired dog-piss performances they put out the past couple of weeks, they're showing something. Turn it around, boys, because you've been embarrassing. And then there's another comment that says, hey, this makes me sad. Best case scenario, they can channel their frustration towards something productive and come out stronger on the other end. Larkin should get a $5 million bonus for how glaringly necessary he is to this team's cohesion and success. Every time he's out, they fall to pieces. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this entire fight, I guess you could say. Lucas Raymond and Ben Chiarot getting into a bit of a scuffle in practice. I'll leave a link in the description, firstly, to this video, as well as to the Reddit thread with all the comments, because Wings fans, I want you to let me know your opinions about everything that was going on from earlier this morning. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.